another speed build. Long time no see. It's been a while since I've posted anything for a while, but I am back with another build here for you. So today, what I'm going to be building is a micro cottage, or tiny cottage as we like to call them. And this idea came from some pictures and different things that I saw on Pinterest. Since there's lots of inspiration on there for like tiny homes and things like that, so I kind of gathered a couple different ideas and kind of put it together to, come up with this design of a cottage. I had a good idea of what kind of shape of the house I wanted for it, and I just kind of went from there and just continued to build. So yeah. As for the style of the roof, I kind of struggled with the initial style of it because I was just going to leave the front of it flat, but then I decided to extend the front of it and bring it out a bit underneath that dormer. That way there was a bit more of a nook for, to add some more space to the house. So yeah, and then as for like windows and things like that, I decided to go with like a medium height wall. That way I could use those windows that you see that I'm putting in, the one with shutters. I don't use those windows too often. They're something that I rarely, if ever, use. So it was nice to try something different as opposed to what I usually like to use. So, and yeah, I decided to go with a brick on the outside, but I wasn't really sure what kind of colors I wanted to go with, so I just kind of played around with different color styles and palettes, like to do with the windows and then the brick, but I ended up changing it frequently, and as you'll see at the end of the video, the outside of the cottage looks a lot different from the beginning. So it did go through a lot of different versions before I got to the final one. So yeah. As for the lot, I just used the 20 by 20 lot in Windenberg, which is a really good size lot. It's not too small but not too big, so I find it's really good for these kinds of builds. And yeah, what else can I talk about really? Like terrain paint and things like that. I've been working on different techniques with terrain paint because I've been finding that when I've used terrain paint in the past, it's looked a little, the lines were too hard and too harsh looking, so I've decided to try to play around with it to kind of blend it so it looks a little bit more realistic. So yeah. I don't know what else to really talk about on this build. Yeah, with the terrain paint and stuff, I guess, yeah, I've just been playing around with different techniques with it, and like for example with the car and everything, I decided to make a little trail behind it so it looks like it's been driven into the lawn a couple times, so it's got a bit of some mud marks behind it. And yeah, it just kind of gives it more detail and it makes it look more realistic. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what else to do with this build. I was really just kind of like going with the flow of it, because like I said, I had an idea in my head of what I wanted to do, but I generally don't like to replicate things exactly the same as what I see in like Pinterest pictures or anything like that, just because I find that it doesn't always work out, because The Sims is different from real life, right? So it's not always going to look the same, and then there's certain things that are missing from The Sims that you wouldn't have, in real life. So it can be kind of hard to replicate it exactly. So what I do is I try to, replicate it a little bit, but put my own style and creativity into it, so it's, my own build anyways. So that's how I kind of went about that, and how I go about with a lot of my builds anyways. So as for landscaping and stuff, landscaping is pretty straightforward. Just a lot of greenery, lots of flowers, lots of flowers going up the walls and things like that. I've got a couple trees on the lot and, you know, some little flower pots outside. And yeah, not sure what else to really cover on the outside. Like I said, I was indecisive about what the outside is going to look like. So, um, as for the interior, I initially wanted to go with a country style because, well, it's just another cottage build as per usual as of late. So I've been doing a lot of cottage builds. So, um, but I decided to go with a less of a country style on the inside, just something different. It's not necessarily like modern looking or contemporary. It's I don't know, just kind of a mixture of different styles. It looks very lived in though and comfortable for, you know, one or two Sims to live there. Um, and like the bedroom and everything, it's all like very open concept. I didn't make any separate bedrooms or anything like that. The only separate room is obviously the bathroom, and that's about it. Everything else is all open, which is kind of, you know, a neat design, I think. But I think it works for a tiny cottage because it really helps with saving on space and you know, working with positioning your furniture and things like that. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else to say about the build. I think I've pretty much covered everything. Other than that, I will leave you with some music for the rest of the build, and hopefully I'll have another speed build out in the future. I have started Twitch streaming, so you can always catch me over there too. It's underneath the same username, which is Elfishly Amy. So yeah, I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.